Welcome to Vialet Studio, where Vialet and her guests share stories of their passions, inspirations, and spiritual journeys. Vialet creates a sacred and fun space for individuals to be able to share information about themselves, their work, and their community. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet. Vialet Rain.
Hi, welcome to Vialet Studio. Thank you for joining us today. My guest is my friend Betsy from CampExperience. I'm so excited to have her here. And the reason I have a connection and I know her is through my daughter Nikki, who works with Betsy on her social media, just like she does me. And she always nudges me, Mom, you need to check out CampExperience. So Betsy, welcome to the show.
Well, I am so happy to be a part of your world, and thank you for the entire world of giving us your daughter, Nikki, because she is a rock star. So that means you, as the mom, are responsible for her turning out so good. So, amen, sister.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, she says your praises all the time. I've been able to attend one of your networking events and I absolutely loved it. So tell me, what is CampExperience? How did it start? What brought it on its way? And what's it about?
Well, so the CampExperience Network started 15 years ago, all right? And I had adopted a baby when I was 41 years old, right? So I got a phone call. You're having a baby. Do you want to know what you're having? And literally, it was an adoption attorney in downtown Chicago. A lady who was 35 years old looked in the phone book under A for adoption, and she picked the first attorney, looked at 14 families, and picked us. So at the ripe young age of 41, we got the phone call. We flew to Chicago and adopted a one-day-old baby girl. And so my past life before that phone call had been jetting around the world and doing conferences and speaking and a TV show and organizing all this stuff. And then I became an instant mom. And it was really the answer to so many prayers. I mean, we were ready. We had the nursery done. And my friend said, "You're crazy to do the nursery." I'm like, God's going to send us a baby. And sure enough, we got a baby. Well, I had, had an agreement with my husband that when we became parents, that my life would significantly change and I would get off the road and be a work-at-home mom, is what I called it, which means I would be dedicated to raising our daughter and I would find a career to be flexible around Girl Scouts and, taking her to the park and play dates and all that stuff, from being a mom. So I was really prayerful and I said, okay, God, I'm a race car driver and I'm now a mom and I have a career that's really big. What can I do to serve you in Inglewood, Colorado, being a mom? And I heard a voice in my head, and you're metaphysical, so you totally get this. And I heard camp, experience, camp, experience, camp. And I realized that my a way to serve and be a mom that I wanted to be would be to create my own property called CampExperience. And it would be a place for women to find education, inspiration, and connection. And that was 15 years ago. And 5,000 women and $1 million raised. So we have been playing together ever since.
I love that. I love that. You're so inspiring. And I think women need women. They need to be able to connect and have fun ways to do that. And I just love your energy and what you bring into it. And so I think that's lovely. And your networking is, you have network groups in how many locations in Denver?
Well, we have, so how our model is, it's a co-op of company sponsors who each pitch in a little bit of money to make everything free so that we're not like those organizations where you pay a bunch up front and you've got to be this or that. We are loving open arms to any woman that just wants to come find education, inspiration, and connections to grow their business and to grow their self, their personal life, because we think it's all intertwined, right? So we started with the fall camp, and then we looked at each other 15 years ago and said, we're not waiting a year to see each other. We need to have a networking group. So we started a monthly networking group. Well, that has grown into 60 events a year to include 2 locations north and southeast of our Camp Connections, which is one of our networking groups, 1 coffee and conversations, and then social events, and then the fall camp, the annual fall camp in September. So it really grew really based on the network growing and the locations of all of our what we call camp sisters. We say we're sisters by choice. So it's not a religious kind of sister, it's a chosen sister, a family. So now we have 60 events a year. And of course, recently those are virtual events.
Don't you just love how COVID comes in and has us pivot in different directions, and we get to set up new systems and still try to stay connected, because I know we've both been trying to do that virtually because we know that people are at home, and we wanted to stay connected through this time. I think it was more important than ever. And I've seen some of your daily Facebook posts, all kinds of fun things just to keep people smiling and laughing through this, because this has been hard for a lot of people being confined to their home. And so I've seen you do lots of different topics. Just tell us a little bit about some of the topics. I mean, they're quick and fast and fun.
Well, here's the funny thing. So I thought we were quarantined for 2 weeks, right? Back in March. And so I thought, oh, for 14 days, keep that in mind, for 14 days, I will do a daily video. Okay, now we're over 60. And so I have just decided, so I'm very prayer filled, right? I really listen to my angels and my spirit. And I really felt like one thing I could do is every day try to say something. And my topic is love is the antivirus, right? Love yourself, love your family and community, and be part of the possible. That's my thing I talk about every single day. So I talk about one of the components of loving yourself or loving your family and community or being part of possible, which for me means being part of the solution and thinking positive and trying to innovate and inspire and help others. And so I have just had to think of things. And I always think every day, if I only do this for my Aunt Susan, who waits every single day for me to do it. My Aunt Susan out in Massachusetts, she always says, I wait for your daily video. So I think, well, if one human cares, it's my Aunt Susan in Massachusetts. So yeah, so I just try to be prayerful and think about what comes to mind, or be really observational of things. Like I watched my peonies come and go, right? I wait every year for my peony plants. They teach us a lesson. Stay in the moment and enjoy them, because when they're gone for another year, right? But I think that's a great metaphor. So I'm observational in my garden and in my life. Some days I have a special guest, like my dogs or my husband. One night I forgot and had to do a nighttime version. It was my most popular. I'm like 9 o'clock at night. I didn't do that video. So I'm possessed. So I run out and I did the video, and it was my most popular one. So thanks for watching those. They're just from my heart, and they're not shitting on people, because I don't shit on you. I just want to say something that everyone can take a breath and go, oh, that might be interesting. Try that on.
Right. Because we just need that positive uplifting. Instead of watching the news 24/7, let's watch something that inspires and makes us feel good, because it does shift our energy. I know your organization's done a lot of charity work. Share with us a little bit some of the stuff that you guys have been able to accomplish and that you do with this organization.
Well, thank you for asking. So our motto is do good, have fun. Do good, have fun. So what I think is different about us is we have always been focused on women helping women since the very beginning. So the first year, and you'll get this because you're a business owner, I made this idea up. I worked on it for a year in advance. I launched it, and the charities got a $20,000 check the first year, and I took $20,000 out of my savings to pay the bills and did not pay myself. And my husband shook his head and said, excuse me, you didn't make a salary, you didn't pay yourself, and the charities got that money. And I said, yeah, because one thing that's super clear is we are focused on women helping women, and the charity money is the charity money. I don't mess with that. So, hopefully this business will grow and one day compensate me, although, however, I'm not so sure that ever happened, but I digress. I really, it's not about creating this huge salary. It's really about doing this good work. So we say do good, have fun. So it started with, what could we do in Denver that is super solid for women helping women, and we've always partnered with Mile High United Way. And the reason we do is because they have fingers everywhere doing good everywhere. So we don't have to worry about doing it ourselves. We can plug in and help with bridging the gap, or help with the young moms, or help with that. So United Way's been a partner for 15 years. And then we've had theme charities throughout the years. And so we, the last couple years, have had the Sock It to 'em Sock campaign, because that again is for homeless people experiencing homelessness in any make kind of place, situation, nationality. It didn't matter. We just help people. So we've gathered over, gosh, almost 7,000 pairs of socks, just the camp girls, and been able to distribute those and then help them distribute some of the socks. So we've also helped over 51 organizations, 52 I think now, in Africa and around the world, in Nepal, in Ethiopia, in Guatemala. So we find organizations that are part of some of our sisters that are involved, and then we stand next to them and help support them. So our money goes 1/3 to United Way, 1/3 to Sock It to 'em, and 1/3 to random acts of kindness. So that's just way open to be anybody who needs help.
I love that. I love that. And I saw last year where you guys took the socks down and had the big photo and did all that. It was pretty amazing. See, I am listening, not always there, but I'm paying attention. I want you to know I wanted so badly to go to your retreat that I do my schedule a year in advance, because my classes are so on target and my clients in the center, that I literally sit down in the fall, like September, and plan the whole next year. I get my calendar and I start plugging in classes and events. And I'm like, I have missed this retreat every year. I hear Nikki come home and talk about it and rave about the retreat and how inspiring and motivating it is, that last September I blocked your weekend. Like, Nikki, when is this retreat happening? I'm blocking it because I really want to go this year. And so I'm excited to be able to go in person, because I've only heard about it in the past. And I just got your email recently with these really cool vans that I would have never even thought of as little camper vans that you can rent and go camping, that have these beautiful, fun, colored paintings on the outside. What amazing is that? So how is camp going to be different this year? Because I know you're working really hard so that people can gather in September. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm so glad you're coming. And this year we're calling it Sister Safe Camp, right? Because, number one, safety is number one, right? But as I pray about it and think about it, I think people need camp experience more than ever this year, because we are ultimately a love fill up, big pitcher of love, and everybody is so empty from giving and worrying and fretting and all that. So I think this year God's going to use camp even bigger, and it's going to be so interesting. So the one thing we're doing is everything has been changed in the format. So no one else knows this. It's kind of announced on your show, so it's kind of exciting. You have a scoop. We actually have custom scheduling this year. So you're going to get an email that's going to say, okay, you've already mentioned one. Do you want to sleep 2 to a room? And normally we would have 18 in a cabin. Now we'll have 8, right? So it's super sister distancing, and you'll choose who you want to be in a room with. So you're going to pick Nikki, because you know Nikki. Okay, so then you get to pick your roommate. Then you're going to eat in shifts. So instead of having 120 of us in a room, you're going to be in small groups for eating. It's not buffets, it's served meals, right? Then you're going to shop in shifts and have happy hour in shifts. Then a lot of things is outside. So some of the shopping will be moved outside. Saturday is a music festival outside. So you're on your blanket, you're all social distanced, you're cool. But the other thing that is going to be a backfire in our favor, I think is going to be so cool, is you're going to be in small groups for your classes. So in the old days, a normal day, you would sit in this big room all day. We'd parade speakers. You'd be doodling on your journal on your desk, blah, blah, blah. Great. Now you're going to be in small groups of 10 or 12, and you're going to be with a breakout speaker in your own little space. So it's going to be a deeper dive. And instead of 15 minutes, you're going to have an hour with these amazing speakers from all over the world. And you're going to have a special journal and a special card deck just for that weekend. So you're going to get to know these people even juicier, even better in small groups that are socially distanced with masks and all the precautions. Of course, hand sanitizer, of course, all that. But I really believe it's going to be the best one ever. And people think I'm a kind of lunatic saying that. But the magic of camp is the people you meet along the way, right? At the dinner table, on the walk, at the fire, on the hike or whatever you're on. So now that those groups are going to be intimate, that's going to help. And then you get to fill out a survey in August and say, here's all the classes, here's my top priority ones I want to go to. So you could say, oh, I want to go to Jerry Keir, I want to go to Susan Fruit, and you're going to get to pick that schedule. And when you get there, you'll have a custom schedule. So it's a Christmas miracle. It's a miracle, but it's going to be so cool. And then it's going to be real customized. So I'm prayerful and ecstatic, and I just know that God's got it, and that my whole job is to be logistics, and that there will be a bubble over that place of health and safety and love and lots of hand sanitizer and cute masks. So we're set.
Well, and I love your cute mask. You got to show us your mask that you guys created for your sisters.
Well, so we created these buffs that in the past life you would think was a buff, but today they're a mask. Because, who knew we would ever need a mask? So this is custom artwork that I did. And then the sponsor, Vende Promotions, and then Camp have little logos in the art. You can see the little camp flower, and there's little Avende logos in the art. So we just mailed these to everybody who's coming to the fall camp and all of our sponsors. We have about 65 sponsors that chip in to make this outreach to women just free and approachable to all women all the time. And now, especially with virtual, it's great because women come, to the commute to Camp Connections North is really short. You don't even have to get out of your jammies. And people that usually go to north come to south, the south come to north, So yes, we mailed out those buffs to everyone. And then we also have some masks on site. Like, we're on it. We're on it, sister. It's going to be fun.
I love it. I love your enthusiasm. For those watching that may not know, Betsy's also a really cool artist. So she's created art and cards and journal books and all kinds of beautiful things with her really happy art that I love to see and I'm really drawn to. So that's part of what's on her buffer is some of her art and stuff that she's created. So I love all that about you.
Well, hey, now you set me up, though, for the thing that your daughter and I are most focused on right now is we have a compilation book that Nikki is in, and it is called The Stew, Smart Talk Exceptional Women. We have 64 authors that have each done a 1,000-word essay about what they'd like to share to uplift and support women in the world. And Nikki is one of our featured writers in the book. And we are in kind of our fundraising stage right now. We have a Fundly campaign, which is helping to kind of fund this project. It'll be a 200-page full-color book. We're going to be happy to sell them and do a book signing at your center this fall for the holidays. We will make you one of our exclusive locations. That'll be so fun. And with this book, we are really showcasing the voices of these 64 women. And it's triumph and tragedy and betrayal and the role of love in surviving, and just like a woman that's starting an interactive amusement park in the Dominican Republic, and she is from Norway, and she just feels, led to do that. Like, super cool things. So it's art. I've done 100 new custom pieces of art. It's poetry, it's song lyrics, it's stories, and it's called The Stew. It's coming out in October.
Wow, I can't wait. That sounds so exciting. So exciting. So for those of you watching, I'll definitely put on the bottom Betsy's contact information, CampExperience, so that you can find all these beautiful things that she's working on and be able to connect, because it is an amazing group. I will tell you, it's inspiring and very supportive and loving that they have for each other, to support each other in their businesses or just in life in general, to know that you're not alone. I didn't have a sister growing up. I didn't get lucky enough to have a sister, so I'm always adopting women as my sisters. So I really fit in that category because I missed out on that. And so I always thought it would be really cool to have had a house full of sisters somewhere along the way. So I love the whole idea. Thanks for sharing with us today, Betsy, all these wonderful things that you have going on. And you have a podcast too, I found out earlier, that people can tap into.
That's right. So I am a public speaker for many, many years. I've been in, oh gosh, probably 19 countries all over the world speaking. I've had a global TV show when I was younger, all kinds of things. And then, once I adopted Sarah, like it wasn't quite so sexy to have a newborn and be on the road speaking, right? When I wanted to be home as a mom. So I really stopped a lot of my big global public speaking as she was growing up. And then, but I love speaking and teaching like you do, that's just a joy for me. So I did a little internet radio to do a proof of concept, and that worked great, but I really felt like podcasting is really the new, like you're doing right now, video and or audio. So I have something called Boost Power Podcast, and it's plug in, right, for education, inspiration, connection. And we have a whole site at campexperience.com, and you can find the Boost Power Podcast page. But on there, we're in like season 5 of just showcasing the voices of women. And then during COVID, we made a quick podcast called Sister Strong and did 45 tactical podcasts on things you could do right now in your life to improve your life. So that's called Sister Strong. And then my other podcast and video series is called the Global Sisterhood Network. And we have gone to 3 continents and interviewed about 170 women, including the mayor of Akureyri, Iceland, and people in Norway and down in Australia and Sydney that are just doing good and having fun. And so we shot videos of them. And so that's all free access on campexperience.com. And just really, if you're having a day and you want some uplifting content, you can find any of our podcasts and videos.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you for all you're doing for the world and for the sisters out there that really need love and support. You're very inspiring as a leader and very inspiring people's lives. So thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for being on my show today. I felt so special to get you on here. So
well, thank you for the good work you're doing. And okay, is that Angel Michael? So I got to know some of the things in your show. Is that Michael? Yeah, because I really resonate with him, and he's sitting here talking to me the whole time. I'm like, Michael, I'm doing a podcast. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, well, I think the great work you're doing in the world is amazing, and I know you lived through, you couldn't only have COVID, you had to have a flood in the center and reconstruction. I mean, like, thank the dear Lord that you're empowered by Michael and all the angels to lead in chaos. I would call that.
It has been that. And I'm hoping to have my keys back to the main center next week. So we're getting really excited to be able to go in and reset up. And we stepped back and we've expanded the space. We're getting all new fixtures. We're expanding our inventory. We're really looking at expansion in all that we do. So it was an opportunity the last 3 months for us to do some big plans. So can't slow down, got to keep going. Nikki's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I would love to come do some art workshops there, just because I'm just having so much joy helping people find their inner artist and, just in 3 hours, create something gorgeous and also set really positive intention. So let's partner on some of that. That would be so fun.
Yeah, I would love to
have that in that space. We can also, of course, do it virtually, but I think, as people are starting to come out into the world, we can do it safe and do good and have fun together.
I love that. I love that. Yes, definitely. And book signing and introduction at the center. We'd love to have you and set that up. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Betsy, for being here and what you're doing to the world. Check out our next guest that we'll have on here and have an amazing day.
Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Come experience the difference at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.